Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every show off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing so many other things with your time, so the fact that you're spending with us truly does mean the world to me. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cutting, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right. Okay, we got a fun one today because we're talking about topics today. We've never done that before. So it's still going to be a loose show, but like we actually have some form of topics that our guest has come in with that we're going to kind of spitball off those. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be an interesting one. Now, as you know, I don't introduce my guests because they can do a better job at that than myself. So on that note, can you please introduce yourself to the people at home?
Sure. So my name's Sherry MacEachern.
Oh,
I am a success coach and the owner of Joyful Roots Coaching.
there we go.
And in my coaching practice, I help people get really crystal clear on what it is that they want in their life to bring them more joy and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And then together we work on sort of an action plan to help them do all the things that they need to do to actually turn that into reality.
That's right. Cool. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is how to start that off, how to have a vision about that, and how to kind of make that vision a reality. So there's one thing that I want you to start off with, because you've said it before when we've chatted off camera, but it is crucial. Most people don't actually know what they want first. They want to create this plan and strategy, let's go, but they don't actually take the time to figure it out. So like, let's start there and then just work through that.
Yeah, that's such a great way to set me up. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So what we do find is that as we get older, when we're kids, we tend to just say whatever it is that we want, right?
Right.
As we get older and go through more of the socialization process, we start to do what maybe other people expect of us, or what society expects for us, and we start to let go of or pay less attention to what it is that we truly desire.
That's right.
So we find people in kind of like early adulthood or mid-adulthood that are feeling like, geez, I'm not actually sure if I feel really happy.
Yep.
And I don't actually know what it is that I want. Most people are very busy doing lots and lots and lots, and in my opinion, too many things. But they're not actually tied to, what am I getting out of this other than I've already committed myself to doing all of these things. But what is it that's really going to bring me the most happiness?
That's right.
And sometimes the goals that we set, in the past don't serve us forever. We always have to be going back to the goals that we've set and saying, do I still want to be pursuing this? Have I already achieved it?
That's right.
And what's next?
Yeah. It's shocking to me in regards to how many people I sit down with and talk to on this topic in regards to people see what I do and they're always curious.
Yeah.
I don't live your traditional Fort McMurray life in regards to I don't get on the bus in the morning, I don't go to sites, like I don't work shift. It's not what I do. So people are constantly like curious about what I do. And I give them I explain like I have a business and this is what my business does, and sometimes I do a podcast and it's a lot of fun. And they say, okay, well, I don't get it. And then I explain to them, okay, well, these are my goals and this is what I'm trying to achieve. And this is the end goal and this is what I do to make it here. They look at me like I'm a Martian in regards to like, you sit down and think about like the trajectory of where you want to go. And like, yeah, if you don't plan or know where you're going, then you're just going aimlessly. So to set that goal and what you just said, to figure out like not just set a goal of success, but a goal of happiness, it's crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. It's kind of just like, wandering around, like what you're describing, wandering around in the dark with a blindfold on and headphones, hoping you'll bump into the thing
That's right.
that is going to make you happy or to give you a feeling of whatever it is that you're looking for.
That's right.
As opposed to actually taking the time to sit down and say, okay, let's get quiet for a few minutes. Let's evaluate what's working,
Right.
what's not working, and then get really intentional about what's next.
That's it. So once somebody identifies what their goal is, well, before we even talk about identifying, what are like, because there are some common themes I've found over the years. What are some common themes that you found that people would say, okay, this is what's going to make me happy? Do you have a few that are kind of jump out at you?
Yeah, I mean, there's some very common ones. I think we talked a little bit about this the last time I was here. It's sort of like the things that society tells us will make us happy.
That's right.
And in every culture, there's some almost like a prescription list, right?
Yeah.
I mean, money is probably the number one, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, if I just have money, I can figure everything else out.
Right.
Weight loss is another really, really interesting one. So
Okay.
what I find is that even people who might not necessarily need to lose weight,
Yeah.
everyone kind of wants to,
Right.
and everyone
Right.
wants to make more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you agree? Have you? Is there
Oh,
other things?
100%.
Yeah.
But then when I sit down with them and I really like get to the bottom of it, like when you ask somebody, they're because more often than not, that's what they say. I want money.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, how much do you need? And then they're like, well, I don't know. I just
Mm-hmm.
want lots. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And like, I understand why you're working so hard, why you're like trying to get all this overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's part of the plan as well of like, and having like a financial plan as well. Like, how much money do you really need, especially like now, currently? It's pretty easy to figure out like your basic needs, your mortgage, electricity, frivolous things like TV, alcohol maybe. But like if you could figure out like, okay, where do you want to retire at the end of the day and how much is that going to cost you? Like what are you going to do in your retirement? You can like pretty much figure out like, listen, you don't need $100 million to do what you want to do. You only need $1 million. And
Yeah.
so now like your goal is if you can earn $1 million, then you can live the life that you want to live here, whatever. And I'm making $1 million up. But then after I say, okay, like let's eliminate money off of the table, like what is it that you actually want to be happy? Then people look at me like I'm a real Martian. And they're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So you are right. I think the default for most people is like we want money because we feel that'll make our lives way easier. And two, you're right in regards to, yeah, you want to lose weight, healthier, live longer, so on and so forth. But once you eliminate the money off the thing, like the responses I've received are so basic for true, like what really makes you happy
Yeah.
if you eliminate money off the table.
So I love where I would take it a slightly different approach, but I 100% get what you're getting at. And
Yeah.
ultimately, what I would say is nobody has a goal of having money,
That's right.
right? Money.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'd like to have a big pile of money, but in reality,
Yeah.
you can't play with money. You can't eat it. It's not going to
No.
keep you warm at night,
Yeah.
right? Money is the vehicle that's going to get you what you truly want.
That's right.
And so, because we're raised with this narrative that money is kind of the
Yeah.
will solve all your problems,
That's right.
without getting really going deep and saying, what does that mean?
That's right.
Then people just focus on the money and
That's
they
right.
don't actually get what they want. That's why, you'll have millionaires, they make their first million. Well, next thing is like, well, now I'm not happy, so I guess I need to make $1 billion.
That's right.
And then
That's
they make
right.
$1 billion. I'm not really happy. It must be $1 trillion because it's never the money.
That's right.
It's the thing that the money's going to give you.
That's right.
Weight loss is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Weight loss is never a goal. The reason why people struggle with weight loss is because, again, no one cares about losing weight. You care about what that's going to get you. It's going to get you more acceptance because our society is so focused on people being thin and fit.
Right.
So you're focused on either socially fitting in.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a story about if I look a different way, I'll be more attractive and I'll be able to find a love partner.
Right.
Or I'll have more confidence. I'll be able to ask for that promotion.
That's right.
But the weight loss, it's like, if I ask people, well, what's your goal? Well, 20 pounds and this size. It's like, well, that's not your goal.
Yeah.
Your goal is what you're going to have after
That's right.
you've done this thing,
That's
which
right.
is just simply the weight loss, right?
That's
So
right.
the money and health are, I find a lot of ties, like analogies between the two of them.
Yeah. Yeah. They connect a lot. And there's, like you just said, and you articulated it beautifully. You want this, but there's something behind it.
Yeah.
And that's like good coaching in regards to, yeah, you're right. You want weight loss, you want money, but let me tell you why and like what you're going to achieve afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say, please, you tell me why.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Everybody's different.
Yeah,
That's right.
for sure.
So after you identify what it is that you want, what's the next step? What, like for when you're going through a process?
Okay, so I find there's two sort of streams of thought here. So one type of person is like, I know what I want, or I think I know what I want, but I'm struggling to get it. The other person is, I literally have no clue, like kind of like what we talked about. No clue. I know I want something different, but I just don't know what it is. So with the person who has an idea, the first thing I always tell them to do is sit down and get yourself in a quiet place and allow yourself to daydream about it. Dream about what it's going to be like when you have it.
Yeah.
Your dream should feel amazing.
Right.
Right? It's
Right.
dreaming. Dreaming
Yeah.
should always be a happy place.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, this can be a struggle for people because a lot of times when we think about something that we want that we don't have, our brain automatically kicks into how am I going to get it?
That's right.
And I don't know how I'm going to get
That's
it.
right. That's right.
And a lot of times that's where the door closes.
That's right.
And never to be opened again for some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really important to practice. So our brains are wired to look for the negative and to look for the fear and to look for the unknown,
Yeah.
to prepare for that, right? Because over millions of years, fear and unknown meant danger and death. We don't live in that way now, but we have to train our brain to practice feeling the happiness and feeling the focusing on the positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so allowing yourself to just take some time and just be like, if I had a fairy godmother and she was just going to come and do it all for me and I
Yeah.
would have it and I
Right.
don't have to figure it out,
Yeah.
what would it feel like?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What would it look like?
Yeah.
What would be the same as right now? What would be different?
Right. Yeah.
What would I be doing? Who would I be with?
Yeah. Yeah.
And allow
it's
your
fun.
mind to kind of, it should be fun.
fun.
It should be fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the young kids out there, food for thought. This is a great exercise to do. And for the adults who have children and they don't know what they want to do. Here's my recommendation, because I was put in this situation as a teenager. If you don't know what you want, go do the exact opposite of something you hate doing.
Oh.
So like for me, I was a general laborer
Oh, yeah.
for 12 hours a day at site. I won't say the site, but I hated every second of it. And so when you're doing something you don't like for 12 hours, you have time to think of what are the million other things I'd rather be doing right now other from this. And then at the end of the summer, I had no idea what I wanted to do at the beginning. I knew I didn't want to be out doing that. And so I was like, listen, I got like 100 things. I don't know which one I definitively want to do, but at least I have some direction in regards to I know what I don't want anymore.
Yes.
So if you're young or if you're even older and you're just like, I don't know what I want, figure out something. Go be a dishwasher, go like dig ditches, do something that you know you don't like. And within that time frame when you're like hating your life, it's a good time to reflect on like, I don't like this. Let's figure this out quick.
Man, you're setting me up so well. It's almost like we had pre-scripted this,
Which we
did
didn't.
not.
Yeah.
We did
I don't
not. No.
I don't do any lead up work.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So the two things that I was going to talk about when I about tips for people to if you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So the first one would be the daydreaming thing.
Yeah.
The second is again, wouldn't quite describe it just exactly how you did, but
Yeah.
same concept.
Yeah.
So for people who really struggle with, like, some people can't dream, like
Mm-hmm.
people that really like to follow the rules, and the dreaming has kind of been beaten out of them.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
be
it
quite honest.
happens.
Once
Yeah.
you get to a certain age in life, like, people don't really tolerate you talking about your dreams that much anymore. It's
Yeah.
sad. It's very sad.
It is very sad. Unless you come to the greenhouse, we talk about dreams all the time.
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much all we do.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So the second thing is exactly what you said. So it's very easy for people to identify what they don't want, right?
That's right.
I don't think you need to go out and force yourself to do things, because I think at a certain point in your life, you've already accumulated
Yeah.
a big laundry list of all
Right.
the things that I don't like.
That's true.
And we usually spend most of our time dwelling on them.
Right.
To
That's
be honest.
exactly it, which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, and one of the biggest things that hold people back too. So what I say, if people are struggling with the whole getting into the daydream state, is identify things, start to notice things that are really ticking you off, like really bugging you.
Right.
And the idea is not to stay focused on it for a long time, but it's a starting point, a launch pad to say, okay, this is what I know I don't want.
Right.
If this was eliminated from my life, what would it look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's not an easy thing to do. It's easy
No.
to identify what you don't want, but the getting what you do want. So for instance, you have a boss that's micromanaging you all the time and really annoying.
Yeah.
You'd say, okay, well, if that boss was gone, what would you replace them with? What would it look like? What would that relationship look like? And then you kind of can start, oh yeah, I can imagine coming to work and it would be like this, and this is what we'd be talking about, or I wouldn't even see them the whole day. I'd just be doing my thing.
That's right.
And you start to kind of create this
Yeah.
little by little tidbits of information that are building.
Yeah. Okay. So now we've identified what we want to make us happy. We've identified like the daydreaming component of it. This is the hardest part for most people, and I think where people get intimidated. And maybe I'm jumping a step. I'm not sure. You tell me if I am. But now it's actually making it practical. I think there's like a lot of self-help books out there that say, like one of them, and it is my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorites is The Secret. You listen to The Secret, and you positive thoughts, like attracts like, and you get what you want. And there's a lot to that. I truly believe that. However, you just can't sit on the couch and like pray for a hamburger and all of a sudden a hamburger materialize. You got to do some work to make that happen in one way, shape, or form. So I think most people like listen to a book like that and say like, oh, it's too artsy fartsy and whatever. And I want like a plan of action on how to do this. But that in itself is intimidating. So how do you put the steps in place to then achieve what your goal is?
Yeah, amazing. So I want to, before we get to the action step, because you brought up another thing that's really important. When people hear about visualization, visualization is something that I work with my clients a lot. It's very, very powerful.
Very powerful.
But a lot of people do think it's kind of woo-woo-y.
Yeah.
Like it's like, that's just like whatever. It's actually very scientific.
Yeah, okay, let's hear about this.
Yeah, so what happens when you visualize something is you're training your brain to focus on it.
That's
so
right.
You're engaging what's called the reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain that filters. So every day, every moment of every day, we are inundated with bits of information that is way too much for our brain to take in.
Right.
So we're always filtering. And we filter, our brain is trained to filter based on familiar. So we will look for things that we understand, we're familiar with. So when we have a dream that, or a goal that we've never accomplished before, we have to start training our brain to make it feel familiar.
That's right.
And so what happens is by visualizing it, whether even you're just closing your eyes and picturing it in your head, or you're watching a movie, or you put it on a vision board and you look at the image. I created this product called a vision puzzle, which is a little bit of a twist on the vision board.
Okay, cool.
But you're putting that image in front of your face, and what's happening is your brain is starting to pattern.
That's right.
Pattern, so you will find things. So for those people that are skeptics, I used to be too until I understood the science of it. That's why it's so powerful.
That's right. Well, you see it, you can taste it, and then you're focused on getting it. And so opportunities to get whatever you're wanting prior to, you might have just like breezed by not thinking about it.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden you're like, oh, look at that. Like that was always there, that opportunity to get what I wanted. I just never saw it because I was so cluttered thinking about other things.
Totally. And you and I were just talking about that exact same thing that just happened in your life, right?
Yeah.
You had been wanting it, you put it out kind of to the universe, chatting with some people, all of a sudden, solution right in your hands.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really important for people to put it in front of their face, even if it's words, even if you don't have the vision yet. Remind yourself over and over again. Your brain needs that new neural pathway to focus.
Yeah.
And then to your next point about then what do you need to do? So in my practice, it's 4 steps. What we're covering right now is the first and the last, basically. Deciding what you want and creating the vision. The last part is now I need an action plan. I need to do something, just like what you said.
Yeah.
And I like how you said this can be really overwhelming for people, right? Especially whether it's a big dream or a small dream, to be quite honest. It depends on what's holding us back from it.
That's right.
So we need to sit down and just say, okay, well, what's everything that I need to do? Let's do brain dump, like brainstorm, everything. Write it all down, scrap of paper, whatever. But what you want to do is start breaking down those big things that are very, very overwhelming into like bite-sized pieces.
Right.
Something that you can do every single day. What stops a lot of people is they think, well, there's so much to do, I don't even know where to start, so I'm not going to start.
That's right.
And then a month goes by, a year goes by, a lifetime goes by, and you've never done it.
That's right.
So really breaking it down into bite-sized pieces is very, very important.
There you go.
And also having somebody to hold you accountable, because we tend to be very bad at holding ourselves
100%.
accountable. Someone that's going to check in.
There we go. Now this is awesome what you just said, because you gave them the beginning and you gave them the end. So it's a great sales pitch because they're going to want to know what's in the middle. But we're not telling you. We're not telling you what's in the middle. You know how it starts, you know how it ends, but there's a lot of
Dangle
work in the
that
middle,
carrot.
so we're not going to talk about it. What we're going to do is we're going to segue into Tanner's segment called the Mac City Minute. So Tanner, please hit her up with the Mac City Minute.
Question number 1. What is one thing in life that brings you joy that people might not know about?
I love to sing.
Oh.
Question number 2. What is your favorite way to lift your spirits on a rainy day like today?
I like listening to good music, and I love a really good workout.
Question number 3. What is one thing anybody could do to help them reach their personal goals?
I think the daydreaming one would be my favorite one. Yeah, allow yourself to dream.
Question number 4. What is your next goal you're trying to achieve?
Ooh, I have so many of them. Let me think.
Killing it with the questions,
I know, right?
bro.
This guy, he just
Killing
kills
it
me.
with the
I
questions.
know. He's so dialed in.
Yeah.
My next goal is to. Oh, I've got some courses I want to create, like online courses, so people can just do the work online.
And your final question, how does helping people help you in your life?
Oh, it's just in so many levels. You know, when I found coaching, it was like, oh, this is my thing. You know, for so long I never thought I had a thing, and when I found it, I was like, this is the thing that I'm best at, and that I'm able to contribute to others too. So it's just
go.
nothing but blessings.
And
There you
those have
go.
been your 5 questions.
Great questions, Tanner. Always impressing me. Like it's a shame that the camera's always on the guest when they're asking the questions, because I'm always thinking like, my head for the people at home. If the camera's on me right now, which I know it is, it's always like I'm like, wow, where is this coming from?
I
Like,
know.
Tanner, you knocked it out the park with those questions, man.
Thank you.
So, what kind of music do you like listening to?
Oh, I'm a big country music fan.
Country. Okay, we talking new country, old country.
I would say like 90s and later. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
so you're like Shania Twain.
yeah,
Ish.
like Toby Keith, or not
Okay.
Toby Keith's a little, Alan Jackson.
Okay. Alan Jackson. He sings that song "Way Down Under" by the. Is that the guy? "Way Down Under" by the Chattahoochee.
Oh, the Chattahoochee.
Yeah, that's.
Yes.
I don't know country music,
Yes.
but I know that one. My next door
Yeah.
neighbor used to listen to that one. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is a banger.
Yeah.
So that's a toe tapper.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so country music,
Yes.
and is that like your jam? Is that like you're only a country girl, or you listen to other stuff
I
too?
mean, I listen to other things for sure, but that's I always gravitate towards the country.
Okay, cool. And now, in regards to exercise, you said you like to exercise. Tanner's questions just get my brain flowing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of exercise to do?
I love weightlifting.
Weightlifting.
Yeah, I started weightlifting when I was never into sports as a kid. I
Okay.
was always like the little kid. No, I was always picked last.
Okay.
When I was about 18, I started. My stepfather had like this weightlifting thing in the basement that we lived in. I started doing it. I just
Right.
fell in love with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I love to bike. I love to cycle too.
Okay. Weightlifting. That's interesting. I was not expecting that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Never
yeah.
judge a book by their cover.
No, yeah. I've done a couple weightlifting competitions actually.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, not, like there's lots of different categories.
That's right.
But yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
love it. I would never do cardio if I would just lift weights.
That's my thing. I love cardio.
Yeah,
I
it gives
love
you a
it.
great high, right? Amazing.
Oh, that's it. And for me, like it's a form of meditation for me, because I just zone out and focus on like one foot ahead of the other.
Yeah.
You're just running, and
running,
then yeah.
running is like the best drug ever.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. I love it. I run at least minimum 3 to 4 times a week on a
Yeah.
good. There are some weeks that I put seven good runs in. So
Yeah, good for you.
love it.
I used
Love
to
it.
be a runner. My knees kind of don't support it anymore, unfortunately.
Oh,
But
yeah, that
it's-
happens.
It's a loss in my
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
So this has been a great episode. Thank you for switching up our format a little bit. I think it was
yeah.
super informative.
Oh, I loved it. Thank
That
you
was
for being
really
open
neat.
to it.
So definitely you'll come back again. You have a lot. I think there were so many topics that you said I could have picked from. There was like 9. So we just picked one, and I think it was really beneficial for anybody looking at home. So thank you for that.
I hope so. Yeah.
So we're at the part of the show where we're wrapping up, but this is your opportunity for a shameless plug. So please tell everybody at home once again who you are, how they can get in contact with you and support your business.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you both to you guys
Yeah,
for
no
having me
problem.
back again. So always a pleasure. So my name's Sherry MacEachern. I am the owner of Joyful Roots Coaching. You can find my website at www.joyfulroots.ca or my Facebook page is Joyful Roots Success Coaching.
There we go. Awesome. Well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, thanks so much for tuning in. It truly does mean the world to me. I know you could be doing so many other things with your time. So, like, it's kind of a routine of me saying it, but I truly do mean it. Like, I am grateful for everybody that tunes in and watches either the videos or the clips and sends comments. Like, it's kind of mind-blowing to me. So, thank you very much. Hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.